Mayor, regarding the study that was made on payroll, employees' pay. Now, my understanding, it's not available to the common citizens for transparency. It needs to be available. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm curious as to how pay is worded out. We have some employees, like our jail employees, you make more flipping a hamburger than they can. And considering that they risk their lives, it's unthinkable.
And I believe that's the topic of this discussion tonight.
Well, that report should be made available to every one of us. One of us, no offense intended, you folks ain't no better than we are. We no better than you are. We are equals under God's law. So it would be nice, for transparency's sake, if you folks could get to where things were posted so the rest of us don't have to ask for them, that they are there. And I'm not trying to cause trouble. I just want to be well educated. I want to do the best job possible when I step in. I had a gentleman send me the email today, raising holy Canaan, about where the chins voted yourselves a raise in, and $200 for the chairman. And I instructed him that I was not sitting on this commission, and I had no votes in that. So you just need to be aware, some people are very unhappy. I, for one, think it could have been better spent on the roads, because our roads are so bad. But evidently, the taxpayers' opinions don't count. So please, wake up and smell the coffee.
Do we have anyone else that would like to address the committee?
Gwendolyn Holden, 8150 West Point Drive. I am a tax-paying citizen, and you all should know about these pays before you even vote for them. You don't even have anything in front of you letting you know what's going to happen. That's a shame. That is a shame. How do you even know how to vote? I want my roads fixed. I pay my taxes. I should have some of the benefits. I'm just asking for the roads to be fixed. I asked Barry Pooh over a month ago to fix some potholes on Hull Drive. They're still holy. He hasn't even tried to fix them. And he's got extra people to do it. Come on. I mean, this is a shame. I would have never thought my government was like it is. It makes me sick to my stomach. I've been coming for 8 years hoping that it would improve, but it gets worse. So, I know I talk about Jesus, but he owns it all, even the holes in the roads, even the things that you all talk about, even the things that you word to not say that it's a lie. God knows if it's a lie or not. He sees your heart. He knows it. And you know what? Vengeance is not mine, but it sure is the Lord's. So that's all I have to say. Use my money wisely or quit taking my tax dollars, would you?
Anyone else that would like to address the committee?
Linda Noe, 2343 Joe Stevens Road. I agree with what Ms. Green has said about transparency, about the lack of information that you get, or you get it, in this case, on some of this, maybe in a few minutes. I realize that I saw a handout going out earlier. But I'm going to approach it from the rules perspective. You haven't met as the Rules Committee for a year and however many months, 3 months, 4 months. This should be a rule. I know you meet more often on the budget, like sometimes every other day, sometimes from Thursday to the next Monday or Tuesday. But if you're going to consider budget items like a salary increase, like the sheriff's situation, or any other budget item, that's taxpayer money, and you should have it at least, how about 24 hours before? Not 5 minutes before, 10 minutes before. I emailed several of you, and yes, I was asking for, is there a salary study? Do you have it? I don't expect you to answer, but as I understand, you don't have it. If you do, let me know, because I want to know if I'm wrong. I asked if you had any information about proposals or alternatives about salary increases or pay increases for today. It's on the agenda. No response. I'm asking now, am I wrong? You don't have anything, you haven't been given anything yet about the salary increases, like the options. But I know what's going to happen. Somebody's going to get up here and say, well, now that I've said this, they may not say it, but the idea would be come up here and Mayor Britton will tell you what your options are. And usually he would ask for a vote after that, like he did on the schools, when you voted to take 5 cents from the property tax for schools and substitute sales tax for it. And let me say, I have no problem with that, except it shows the way you move money around in order to shore up the general fund, and that's what that was all about. You can't take sales tax money from the schools, so you took property tax money. That's all it was about. But back to rules, please. Before you leave, Mr. DeBoard, have a rules meeting and let's get some nice, legitimate, legal, proper rules in place where you all and the public, I mean, we didn't have anything. There's nothing in the packets. There hasn't been on the budget for the last several meetings. There's just an agenda. No information for the public, and apparently no or little information for you. I challenge you, Mr. DeBoard, please. That's the biggest problem we have up here is it's just a free-for-all. No rules, no procedures, sue people, whatever. Please. Thank you.
Do we have anyone else that would like to address the committee? Seeing none. In old business, we have none.
Chairman, before we
Yes.
get started, I need to bring something up. It might have been answered, may have got by me, I don't know. Dr. Perry was up here last time and discussing this raise for the teachers, which is very much needed. But he gave his executive assistant $8,000, right at $8,000, don't quote me exact amount, $8,000 raise. And she's also going to get this other 2%, I understand? Do you know about that?
It will not exceed the cap that's done by the highest teacher.
Well, why would an executive assistant get an $8,000 raise and the teachers they get like a 2%? Can anybody expound on that?
Mayor Britton, isn't that an issue of we are only authorizing them to complete their budget, and if we agree to that completion, then it's their determination how the money is spent? Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to also mention in regard to a motion that I made last time. I just assumed, but I want to explain, I move that we approve the mayor's proposal. And I assume that he's going to put all the details in a motion. And I want everybody to know that because I don't want somebody to come up here later on and accuse him of fraud. I mean, those salary figures and everything, the budget amounts have to be put in budget form. And my motion was on the assumption that he would do that for us.
Any other comments? Those are both well noted. Okay, in new business, item 4A, safe space. Van Wolf, please.
Good evening. My name is
Van Wolf. I'm the Executive Director for Safe Space. Safe Space has been providing shelter services to victims of domestic violence, stalking, human trafficking, and elder abuse since 1976, primarily to the 4th Judicial District. But as you recall, CEASE shut down 2 years ago and left Hamlin County without a shelter. At that time, I immediately reached out to law enforcement here in Hamlin County to give them our 1-800 crisis line number and let them know that we were very much willing to take victims from Hamlin County into our shelter. While we've always sheltered victims from Hamlin County and any other county or state for that matter, when CEASE shut down, our Hamlin County numbers easily tripled. So last year, we sheltered a total of 19 Hamlin County victims for 226 bed nights. And this year to date, starting July 1 to today's date, we have sheltered 30 for a total of 522 bed nights. It cost us about $450 a day to operate shelter, so any funding that Hamlin County government can give us would be greatly appreciated. And with that, I'll stop and let you ask questions if you have any.
Would you repeat that number, 500 and how much?
This year's numbers?
This numbers.
30 residents for 522 bed nights. And I will say we have no set bed nights in our shelter. Victims stay as long as they are in danger. So the average stay is anywhere from 1 to 3 months generally.
And what happens to these people if there is no shelter?
Well, they would have to go to Knox County. There is a shelter in Claiborne County. They would have to go to Greene County, but those are the closest shelters. And just so you know, our shelter is in Dandridge, so we're closer to many Hamlin County residents than we are to some of our other service areas.
I want to thank you for taking care of our families.
You're welcome. You're welcome. My pleasure.
What other questions or comments?
Those 30 residents, was that for this year
Correct.
already? Up
Yes.
to this point, you've had 30 with 522 bed nights.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just comment, is, so the request in the budget is $8,000, and that's what we gave CEASE in the last year that we funded CEASE. And just doing the quick math, $8,000 divided by 522 bed nights is $15.33 a night.
And what's your bed cost per night? You said there were,
It costs us $450 a day to operate the shelter. Whether
about how
those-
many beds is that?
I'm sorry, 26. Any other questions? Thank you guys for the opportunity to let me speak.
Thank you.
Chairman, for what they do, and they do us a big, great favor, what I would like to do, I'd like to adjust that for inflation, all that other good stuff, over the last couple of years. I don't see why even $10,000 wouldn't be inappropriate to do this for them. So I'd like to make that motion.
Motion to increase $2,000 to the
10.
to the budget for, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. What further discussion do we have?
Do we have any kind of safeguards as far as how the money's being used or audit reports or anything that we need?
I'm sorry, who's asking that? I think the mayor has our audits and all that information, but I'd be happy to provide anything specifically that you'd like to have. That money goes to operate our shelter.
Sure.
That's staff salary, utilities, food, clothing, anything, toiletries that we give out, everything that it takes to operate shelter.
Just want to make sure there was accountability with that.
We're very accountable. We're very transparent with our money. We're good financial managers. But if you can think of some specific report that you'd like to have, I'd be happy to provide that to you.
You might have said how many,
I'm sorry.
you might have said how many people from Hamlin County there.
This year is 30, and they've been there for a total of 522 bed nights. The mayor asked me to explain our funding to you. We operate on about a $550,000 annual operating budget. About half of that money is through a federal grant, and then the other half is municipalities. We are proud to be, for the first time, a United Way recipient here in Hamlin County. We get other United Way fundings from other counties, private grants and foundations, fundraisers, individual donations, so that kind of makes up our budget.
Where at in Danridge are you located?
I'd have to kill you if I told you.
I do
You're a
not
dead
want to
man.
die.
It is, we do keep our shelter location confidential. Yeah. It's a small town, you could probably find it. Any other questions?
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So that would virtually cover the cost of the operation of what they've done for us in the county. A little bit less, I guess. You said 400 and,
$50 a day.
yeah. So, and 26 beds.
Correct.
So that gets us to about where we're paying our portion of the load if we do that. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion?
Question. She put in for $8,000 for approval.
Yes, sir.
If you want more money, why didn't you put in for more money?
Honestly, it was based on the recommendation of the mayor, and we're grateful for any monies we can have. Obviously, we would take more. May I ask for 20?
No.
It's a little late for that, ma'am.
She only asked for 8,000, and we're being generous by
Yes.
adding 2,000 to it. She didn't ask for the 2,000,
We volunteered.
we're responding.
Yes. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition?
Ah,
Motion carries. Item 4B, Ola, did I say that correctly? This is Miss Betsy Hurst.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us today. I was here last year, so I'm excited to be back and give you a little report of what we've been doing through this year at Ola Lake Way, which you already know is one of my passions, and that's what I'm working there. So I'm going to have Ms. Rita to help me with that. So we remember that our mission is to facilitate the integration of the immigrants' families into the Fabric Ola Way community through educational programs. So that's our mission. This year, we have 3 programs, and I'm going to go a little bit on that. But in our educational programs, we have English classes, and then this through until now, we have 111 students served. 90% of those students increase their English language skills, and we're talking about adults not speaking any English. So we have now several of them already speaking, having conversations. We also provide Spanish classes, and we have community members attending to those. Those Spanish classes, a little bit of the community that wants to learn Spanish, so they'll be coming to us, and we've been helping them. One of the big classes that we had is a high-set classes, which is the GED. And this year we have 47 students served, and then 17 of them has improved. And then 3 of them has passed the math test, which is a little hard to pass. And then 8 of them is passed the language arts test only. What I'm gonna say on that high set, these families or these individuals attending to the classes, they are a very low background education. They don't have any. Some of them never finished school at their countries. So they're coming in here and they're learning and then taking those classes. A lot of them are women, single moms, or parents that wants to increase so they can help the child in their education. We're our academic support center. We have 52 students served, and those are students from Hamlin County schools coming to us, receiving support during the academic part, right, computer classes, or they have English classes, or they need homework help and things like that. So we've been helping them with that area. And I'm gonna let Ms. Rita to speak about OLA and opportunities for students going to post-secondary education.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rita Castañon. I'm the outreach director at Ola Lakeway, and I'm so excited. We did our first college conference. We had about 70 students come. They came all the way from Johnson City, Knoxville, Jefferson, Hamlin County, Granger County, and we pretty much talked about what are the barriers that first generation college students face. And I really try to focus on empowering them and really emphasizing that education is the way that we can better our society. And just, overall reach our goals and dreams. And we have exposed 991 students to higher education by having one-on-one meetings with them, going to college fairs, doing the college conference, and other things. And then we also have our Elevate program. This is a program that we recently have started. It has 27 students, high school students from East and West High, and we focus on workforce development, leadership skills. What are the things that you need to be on the lookout for while applying to college? If college is not your choice or not, your vibe, it's okay. There's technical schools. How can we take advantage of that? And most students in this program are first generation students that are US citizens. Some of them have work permits, and there's specific scholarships for people. So we really help them look for that. So far we had 5 college recipients. They're all going to college, to Carson Newman next fall, and are all, under a work permit, like DACA. So it's really exciting just to be able to know that at least 5 students were able to get a full ride. So, yeah. And then Betsy's going to talk about the Super Parent.
So we have the Super Parent Hero program. It's a program that started in 2019 based on a grant that we had. And it basically empower parents to advocate for the children's education. You come from a different country, you don't know how education works in America, so we help them to understand how it works. So we walk through all the process from registration to school, understanding to read the grade cards, and how they can communicate with the teachers. So we're becoming the liaison there. We've been helping parents to translate and during parent-teacher conference so they can have a program or a pattern to go and talk to the parents and the teachers there. We have served 101 parents receive translation services since this year. Okay, I'm not good on this. So we also have cultural programs, right? So part of this is the integration, and we have our international festival, and just last year, our international festival was attended by 5,000 people. And it was a great time for all the community. We did it in downtown in Morristown, and it was great. We also have tertulias, which is conversations in the community. They help us to understand each other cultures. And we have 200 attending, and then we also have cultural competition trainings with community leaders, school systems, and we have in one of the universities, they invited us to speak about the cultures and the difference, and we also provide for the families, newcomers families, also to understand the Appalachia culture and East Tennessee culture. We also have our community support programs, and it's Ola on the Move. So what does that mean? We're going to the neighborhoods. So we've been doing a lot of work with the vaccines, with COVID vaccines, making sure the families get vaccinated. They understand the importance of that through COVID. And we visit 750 homes, and with our volunteers, and also partner with Cherokee Health System, Hamlin County Health Department, and Rural Medical as well. We have newcomer families coming to us, and we received 10 families. These families have received orientation to learn about the culture. We done a school registration. We also give them a tour of local transportation so they understand that it's able over here, and they have transportation so they can navigate in the community. And we also teach them about the Appalachia culture and our history, So we took them to the overlook where the veterans overlook right there close to Bean Station. And can you back a little bit? keep going. With this Dr. Perry's, right there. I don't know if you noticed, but is that Dr. Perry receiving one of the new students in town. She is Samara, and Samara got here early in the spring, and we were lucky to present her to Dr. Perry in the schools. We have beautiful stories with children coming to us, not speaking any English, and now there's start conversations with the people in our office. Okay. So we do have a food pantry, a little small food pantry at Ola, which calls La Tienda de la Gente, or the People's Store. And we also partnered with Second Harvest, and we have served 1,500 families. And that is just everyone. It's not just for his immigrants' families. It serves all the community. So we are being blessed to have that. And I do want to thank you for your support. This has been a great year for Ola. We've been working hard. As you know, we are only part-time employees right now, but we're doing a work that takes hours and times. And without it, we cannot appreciate all the support that you have given us. It's been a good year. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions?
I have a question. Out of all these students, you only have 3 people to pass that math test?
Yes, because a lot of them coming without having an elementary education, so we had to start with basics.
I understand, but is there some of them that's been around for a little while that's more than 3? It seems like an awful low number. I didn't know if it was the educators' issue. I didn't know if it's
Sometimes
learning.
It depends of, some of them I don't know how to read, and it takes some time to understand that. I mean, and it's math, and they had just they don't know how to subtract or division, so you have to start from 0. So you have different levels of the classes. So you have level 1, level 2, level 3, and then those the passes, they were in a little advanced class. So that is one of the reasons. So that it takes some time if you don't have a education, if you're lack of education.
That's the academic year, correct? Basic academic year?
Excuse me?
It's an academic year, correct? How long is the classes?
The classes in Ola,
Yes.
it's 2 hours on Tuesdays. And it's just once a week, and they come, and also we offer Saturdays for a tutoring program that we had. Mm-hmm.
These adults,
They are adults.
they're not school kids.
No, and they're adults, So we adults, I have been an adult learner, and it takes time for us to learn, to get things settled in our heads, and then we deal with what is happening in the house, right? So
Could they have passed the test if it been in Spanish and they're dealing with pesos?
the test is in Spanish, but it is, I don't know if you understand, if I'm explaining right. Some of them don't speak well Spanish. Some of them are indigenous, so you deal with the languages barriers there. Some of them never been in school, so they might struggle with the reading and the comprehension. So for math, if you have a problem in math, then you have to be able to understand that it's algebra. The test is not easy. It's a really difficult test. So we prepare them to get ready on that test. And we've been doing pre and post tests, and every 10 weeks we test them, making sure they're ready. We're not going to put them on a situation to go do the test, and then they're not passing because you have to pay for that test. So we're making sure that the person will be ready in order for them to take the test.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am,
Excuse me.
answer me this if you could. Do we have a problem at the border?
Do we have a
Do we have a problem at the border of the United States right now? We do.
Yes, we do.
So, or you're saying we don't have a problem here? Well, my problem is this. I've always heard that you need to take care of yourself before you can help others. And how many counties have been bombarded with illegal immigrants? And I hear this a lot. So for me not to speak up would be wrong. So it's hard for me to look at Mrs. Wolf back here, who we can only muster up $2,000 for her. But we're looking at 15,000 for this organization. It's just giving money away. I just feel like we need to, I mean, I hear all the time of illegals and accidents with no driver's license, with no insurance or nothing. And what happens? Nothing. And if I'm incorrect, tell me if I'm incorrect. Did they get took to jail or anything?
If they break the law or revoke license, something like that.
I've heard a lot of other stories. So I'm going to have to speak up on this because I hear other people speaking to me about this. So that's why when I see 15,000 here, and I've questioned this, when, like, for example, Mrs. Wolf here, you know, we can only get 2,000 for her. Now, am I wrong about this?
We gave her, we gave her 10, we gave her 10,000. We gave her,
From 8 to 10?
yes,
We moved to fund them at the same level
yes, as seats.
for this year.
I've always been taught if you can't swim yourself, how do you save somebody else?
Just,
I think you have a very valid point. We need to have a problem, but I think, we focus more on, we are not like the government, right? We can't do anything. The families are here. And most of the people that we serve, especially students, they're born here. They're U.S. citizens. They're first generation, second generation. And we do this with 4 part-time staff. We do not have 1 full-time staff, and that's not even full-time. We have 2 jobs. I have 3 jobs right now. And
So the people coming to you are illegal here.
we do have undocumented families, but most of them are not undocumented. They're born here. They're U.S. citizens. They're first generation, second generation. That might have not have, like, they don't know how to navigate the college process. We have a lot of first generation students.
and we have worked with through help the school system. You have all these students coming in, and we are the liaison to protect the students, to help them to kind of navigate in the schools. So it's not like, we serving the students at here or the children in Hamlin County, providing the help the parents so they can help their kids to understand how things works.
We provide translation services that oftentimes school systems don't have translators, so we step in and we provide our time. We sometimes, are trying to just build bridges, also empowering people, but
In Ola works more like a liaison, right, to help the families. If you notice, the workforce in Hamlin County is growing, so we have to prepare these families to get ready for that. We provide legal assistance for immigration, so the families, if they have an immigration issue, so we provide that so they can kind of work and hopefully become, they can work in their status at this point. But the work that we do is, how we see it as a welcome center, right? So we are there to help them in the different ways. If it's education, so it's in the schools, to understand how they can integrate and then how help the children to become, to be better citizens because they are citizens.
Well, I understand. To correct what I said, I know we got 8,000, but add extra 2,000. That's why I'm trying to point to.
Okay.
But I'm
Do
sorry.
you get
I
any other
just think we
funding
need to.
anywhere?
Yes, I write grants. So I've been having foundations that help us and provide the services that we do so we can help them and programs that we have. So, we won't be able to provide that. It will be,
Do you get any funding through the Hamlin County Education System?
No,
The school boards don't give you no?
no.
How much does it cost to operate your business a year?
So, based on last year, we have a budget about $100,000. So, but it is a lot of comes from foundations, and we'll be doing that. If you notice in the books, it is salaries are not big salaries. It's very short, small salaries there. So it goes more into the programming, and of course the location, trying to maintain the lights on in the building for families to come and receive the services that they need.
Couple of questions. Are you located on South Cumberland?
Excuse me?
Are you located on South Cumberland?
Yes, sir.
That's the old paint store and the bank and
Yes.
all that, okay. Okay, next thing. Your people that's coming, are they from Central America, Guatemala,
It's
Puerto
everywhere.
Rico, Mexico? Where's you got a mix?
We have Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, Venezuela, Colombia, Cuba, República Dominicana. So we have a big, so far we have not received anybody from Ukraine, but it might be happen, or somebody from Afghanistan, it might be happen. I just left a meeting because trying to how we can help if they come to Morrison, so we can be ready to help if we have refugees coming in. And that's, yeah.
Do you think the Hamlin County school systems with the Hispanic people in school is helping their parents learn the language?
The Hamlin County School Systems does a great job, and we're partnered with Hamlin County Schools, and that's why we work together, so we can provide that to the parents. I don't think they provide English classes for parents because their focus is the children, but they do provide, if we are there, we help them, and they can, and then we become as a partner, because that's what the ideal, right? We work together if they're usually contacting us for helping parents to that. I mean, they do have bilingual people in the schools to work, but, sometimes if they're not there, they contact us, and we are, we been years with partner with schools. We're starting in the schools when we didn't have a location.
I know I've got a young man who just graduated from West High School, and he's going to school in Florida. But when he comes to my house, his father doesn't speak very good English, So this kid translates his daddy. But he's got a 8-year-old brother that's doing the same thing. So I'm thinking the students are helping the parents if the parents are focusing on what they're doing. And I know several like that.
Yes, and it happens, and the ideal is, based on my experiences, the children do not translate for parents because of this. Sometimes there are difficult situations to translate, is to empower parents to understand that they need to learn English. I mean, I will say it in this way, this is America, we speak English, right? So they need to learn English. They can speak Spanish at home, but they need to all understand and learn English. We have families from Venezuela. They are professionals in their own country. We have an engineer, we have an accounting, and we have other nursings. They come in here, don't know English, so if they can't get their education approved, then they can be part of the workforce here in Hamlin County but they have to learn English. So they are coming to our classes to take those classes, to learn English.
You
may
know,
have said.
I agree with, I'm sorry, I agree
no, go
with
ahead.
Commissioner Stepp, about the undocumented immigrants. And I know we have some here, it's obvious, but, my last year in the classroom, which has been a few years back, in a biology class, I had 3 young men that were Hispanic. One spoke English, the other 2 had not a clue. And if not for that one kid, I would have. And it's not fair. It's not fair to these young people that are coming in trying to better themselves, get an education, and they really struggle. I can't imagine what it'd be like to be picked up and plopped down in a foreign. It doesn't matter what country it is, trying to learn a new culture, new language, new way of life, to get educated, to get a job, and support myself would be very difficult. So I do commend you for what you guys do. But I also, like I say, I agree with Commissioner Stepp that, we have to take care of our own first. But you have a lot of, if they're first generation or second generation, they're our own. And we certainly want to be able to reach out to them and take care of them. And, maybe at some point, this wave will pass, and these first and second generation Americans will grow on up, be educated, be able to get good jobs, and this whole thing could get turned around and maybe put you out of business if we can. But you're to be commended. You're from Costa Rica, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I thought I remembered that. But while I agree with Commissioner Stepp, I do think these folks need help, just practical help, cultural help, acclimating to. I mean, East Tennessee is a different world than Spokane, Washington. I couldn't go there; I'd be lost, So I do commend you that, and whatnot. So.
Thank you.
But just for general purpose, just for general information, out in Monterey, California, they got the language school. And you're in the military, you go to a language school, you go in that school, whatever language it is you're going for, if you want to eat and stuff, you got to order it in their language, in that language. You don't speak English out there in Monterey. Whatever it is you're going to, you got to live it. Eat, live, sleep, whatever. Your textbooks and everything in that language. And you got to learn it. And believe me, you learn it quick.
Survival.
You survival, exactly.
So the families that you help, they come to you, or do you seek them?
They are either referrals by schools or referrals by community partners. They come to us, and then we go to where they are.
Okay. So I like your idea. I agree with Commissioner Hahn and how he was stating this. I think you're to be commended also, and I think it's well needed. In our community right now, I think the Hispanic population is the second or the largest minority group we have. And I think it's needed what you guys are doing, and we need to help and make that connection. Let's acclimate them to East Tennessee. So that's your purpose. That's your idea, correct?
Yes.
Okay. That said, I agree with what you're doing, and hope you will.
Thank you, sir.
Do we have any more questions? If not, do we have a motion to
We've
accept?
already taken action,
Yes.
unless you want to change
Yes.
the amount.
No, I just got confused, sorry.
We've already voted on it.
All right.
I think they're here because you wanted to hear from them.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. So how do you describe the offset by what you provide? Because we've got an investment of $15,000. What's the offset that you see that's going back to this community? Can you quantify it?
I think we reach a lot of people. Organizations that help immigrants, families integrate into this culture. There's two in East Tennessee. There's one in Knoxville called San Cristiano, and we're at Ola Lake. We don't have an acronym because we want to help integrate families from all over, not only Hispanic countries. I think that for me personally, I love to help first generation students who are born here, but they have parents that are documented. Help in scholarships, and I've helped a good 9 of them get full rights, and I'm proud of that. And I think for me, it's rewarding to empower young people who are in the high schools to not only learn how to, embrace their culture, but also learn the Appalachian culture and go out in whatever professional setting they are and really represent, because I think we're very underrepresented everywhere. But I think it's hard to quantify.
We have probably reached about 3,000 families throughout the years, or more than that, because we are the only one organization here that works with immigrant refugees. I mean, that's it. Then the rest one will be, if they send it to Knoxville, it's too far away for them to go. But here in Morriston, Tennessee, we have reached about close to 3,000 families or more than that. Yeah. So.
Start playing Rocky Top.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Item 4C is the employee pay proposal. Mayor Britton.
Good afternoon, everybody. Just one comment before I get started. In reference to, I guess, the comment made that you guys aren't provided any information, and I make this comment to the public that watches these meetings on YouTube or wherever, is that statement's not true. Is that the county commission was provided a budget book 4 weeks ago, and it's been online for 3 or 4 weeks for the public to view. And so there's been, all the information has been before the county commission and the public. So that statement was untrue.
We realize that.
Okay, the pay proposal. Some objectives for what I'm going to propose this afternoon is, one, is we are behind in pay, but also is we've never seen a compensation market or a pay market like this before. Our consultant, who we've worked with since, probably 16, 17 years on our pay plan, says he's never seen a compensation market like what we're in today, and that it's an employees market because of the lack of employees available and other factors. So it's a very competitive market, and we've got to be competitive to be able to keep good employees and to attract employees, especially in the areas where we have our greatest turnover. Our benefit package is solid. It's good. I'm proud of it. I think that we offer good benefits to our employees, and I think there's more value placed on the benefit package by older employees with the health insurance, because they have more health issues, and the employee health clinic, and the life insurance that we pay for. And I think the older employees that we have place more of importance on that than some of our younger folks. And I can remember back in the days when I was wanting to change jobs and leave the first job I ever had, and my employer said, well, we've got this retirement program, and I was 24 years old. I'm going, that's really not important to me. So I understand that. So we've got to be competitive in the pay area. One area that we lack and that we have suffered the consequences in is in public safety, is in the sheriff's department, not only patrol, but in the jail, also court security, just all across the board. And we've lost a lot of employees, and mostly for higher paying jobs. Again, I think the benefits are there, but this is the group that is the younger group of employees that we have. So this addresses closing the pay gap. And then we also want to reward our employees who do a good job, and those who provide the services for our citizens that they've come to expect, and we want to reward them. So here's the proposal that I'm placing before you is all general government employees, that's employees funded by the general fund and sanitation and highway, would receive a 5% raise. And that's across the board, all levels would receive the 5% raise. You see on your screens the cost to the general fund of that is $225,000 for the general fund. For sanitation, $48,000. Highway would be $64,000. For post-certified, that's your patrol officers, the detectives, the folks in courtroom security who have earned their post-certification. There would be a 12% increase in their compensation, which would cost about $262,000. And then in corrections, there would also be a 12% increase, which would cost about $268,000. And that's at all the levels from captain through to the CO, and there would be a 12% increase. Now, what that does, here's what it does as far as starting pay goes, is for corrections officers, the starting pay for corrections officers right now is $13.50 an hour. For officers who work the night shift, you may recall a couple of years ago, we added $1 premium per hour for those who would work the night shift. So the $13.50 and $14.50 are the low end for corrections officers. That would go to $15.25 under this proposal, which is $33,306 on an annual basis. So the starting pay for a corrections officer would be $15.25, which is $33,306. That does not, the $33,306 does not include holiday pay, and the corrections officers receive holiday pay for they receive pay for all holidays in addition to their regular pay. Post-certified deputies, which would be the on-the-road deputies, the administrative ones that are post-certified, as well as the detectives would receive the 12%. For the deputies, the starting pay would go from $15 an hour to $17 an hour. That's a road deputy. The detectives are sergeants. I'm correcting myself on that. So that this wouldn't apply to a sergeant. But for a road deputy, it'd be $17 would be the minimum, which is $37,128, and it does not include the holiday pay. Then for part-time security, we have, I think, 9 full-time positions in court security budget, and then the rest of the staff is part-time, and they earn $12.50 an hour now. We would increase that to $14 an hour. So those would be the pay for that personnel. And then as far as cost goes, general fund, it would be $756,000, and sanitation $48,000, and highway $64,000. And the $756,000 would be paid for by the 5 cents that would be moved from the school budget to the general fund, which generates about $780,000. And these cost figures include all the taxes, all the payroll taxes, all the retirement contributions, all the cost to county government. It's in these numbers. Questions?
So you're saying that 5% would take in a little bit more than $756,000?
The 5% and the 12% for the law enforcement would cost $756,000.
I was talking about the income from the property tax that were taken from the school system.
Yes, that would pay for it.
And there would be no more than that.
There would be no more money. The first year would be only current year property taxes. On the revenue side in the budget, you'll see current year property taxes, and then you'll see the taxes collected by the trustees that are delinquent, and then the courts that are delinquent. And so for this first year, 22-23, it would be the 780. And then the following years, it would be more.
Did you give any consideration to $20 an hour
For
the correction people in the jail?
we did not run those numbers, no.
I think this still puts us way below what some of the
What TCI, in a presentation that TCI made a couple weeks ago, that I heard was the average pay for a corrections officer. Now, this is statewide, so this includes metropolitan areas and the areas much more rural than we are, is around $14.85. And now Sevier County has just raised theirs to about 1550 in that neighborhood.
What about Morristown City, where,
All right, now I'm talking corrections.
yeah,
Okay, and now starting pay for a city officer, they're bumping to around 41.
that's where we're losing some of our people, isn't it?
We are.
There in Jefferson County,
Yeah, and I'm not sure what Jefferson County's pay
but
rate is.
the city, okay.
Is it possible, Chairman, that we have a compensation committee? We don't? I thought we did. My bad. Well, I'd like to recommend, this may be a beginning point, but maybe this be something that from this point forward, we look at the next 3-4 years to bumping to get, I think it takes more than just an average for our post-certified people, for our corrections. I think it's going to take more. I'd like for us as a county to look at bumping this up where they're more than competitive against, say, Chick-fil-A or whatever. Just as you're saying, maybe we can't do it all this year, but I'd like to see us come back with a plan, maybe not today, where we can, actively look at this and give them incentive to continue.
Now, a year and a half ago, we started this process about a year and a half ago when the commission approved some significant increases in public safety pay because we were further behind then. And so that was kind of step one, and this is kind of step two. And then I think we continue, like you say, keep making baby steps.
Okay.
To be a place where people want to work, but I think, our benefits are strong. Our facilities are getting better. I think that the pay, we keep working on the pay through the years, yes.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to just wait and see if this increase is gonna work with people. If they wanna stay with us, if they wanna go somewhere else. I think it's to wait and see if this money's gonna do it. If they can do better, they'll do better. Everybody that can do better, they just love your job, you'll do better. So I don't know, I don't think it's gonna be final. I hope it is. I hope they'll work with 17, 15, 50 an hour.
Now, this is starting point. All the employees will get the 12%. So,
From the indications I get from talking with several, they miss their step raises. And I'd like for us as a county, just to be proactive in helping these guys and ladies to stay on. Experience is everything. Once you have an officer trained up, and to keep them in place is invaluable as to having to start over. And money's not the whole issue. They got to want to be what they are. And I'm thankful that they're there. But I just feel that we as a county can do better than we've done, and we've just fell behind. And this is just a starting point, I believe. And that's the way I'd like to approach it.
And they're in a very dangerous
Absolutely.
profession. We have been lucky, but one of these days, our luck may run out.
Well, these officers out there, they build relationships in the community. And people feel comforted when they see a familiar face drive up, and they've got an issue, they got a problem, and this guy that's been there and they've interacted with them before, there's a lot of comfort to that. But I agree with what Commissioner Cutshaw said, but this is, it's embarrassing, to be quite honest with you, that, we're paying, I think, the bare minimum. I would not want to do I won't say I wouldn't do it, but I would not want to do the job that some of these folks do. When you have to have a gun strapped to your hip to go to work,
Well, you know, I see us pushing ourselves into a metro government. A metro government, well, you know, you're going to take away half the taxes, not half the taxes, but I'm saying a lot of the taxes that we're paying for now. We don't need all the cars within the city and the county. We don't need all them taxes. It's just the fact, I know down in Knox County, it's just if you put us against them, now, trust me, their taxes are a whole lot more than ours. But the fact is, you're just going to save a bunch of, you know, bunch of positions, number one, a bunch of money going into a metro government. And we're primed to be a metro government. We're too small to be two governments in this little county, you know? So that's something we need to look at. Of course, the city can get on. I understand we looked at it before, and somebody didn't want to lose their job or whatever it was, part of the county commission or whatever it was, you know? It's just where we're headed. I see big benefits being a metro government. And so, you guys, next time, that's what y'all need to look at.
you know, it was also brought up that we have, 53 sheriff's employees, something, is that about right?
You've got, if you count all the divisions together, it's about 110
Okay.
in that neighborhood.
And we've got about half of those that have cars. Is that about right?
I think there's 48 authorized vehicles.
Okay. And vehicles are $35,000 to $40,000 a pop, plus gas, maintenance, insurance, et cetera. I'd like for us to take a look at, you know, how we can alleviate some of that expenditure, not necessarily just cars, but other areas where we can alleviate some expenditures and take that money, put it in their pocket, and because, like I say, they need the money, they deserve the money, and I don't know if I have no idea who all needs to drive a car, but I know that's a major expense.
Put it in our pocket. You don't get big enough kickback now?
I mean, if it's your wish that we look at more, we can run those numbers and tell you what it costs. But this is what.
As long as the tax revenue's there and it continues to go like that, I'm for that. But
I think we need
just
to look
concerned about down the road.
Just see what $20 an hour would cost us.
Now, do you want
The starting point, I
do you
mean,
want 20 as a starting pay?
Could you go back
to that
other slide?
I'm talking about the correction officers and all.
Well, that one's good too. Not that one. Go back.
That was the first one.
Oh, well, go to the one after this. There you go.
That one?
Yes, sir, thank you.
Now, in I had it written down and failed to bring it with me. The range for a corrections officer now is those that are on staff and are, like for the corporals, it's 35-ish. For the sergeants, it's around 40. And now they have some experience. For deputies, the patrol officers get to the they're around 40, low 40s. The sergeants are in the mid 40s. The patrol sergeants, the detectives are mid 40s.
That's the average.
Yes. Yes.
Looking at the high end of it, I mean, Commissioner Horner just mentioned something. Somebody that's been there for a long time, and you add that, it don't quite seem fair to the people on the low end. I was wondering if maybe we could come up with something like the school board did on their maximum, you know.
For,
Let me clarify. My actual comment was somebody that's been there 4 or 5 years and making $20 an hour. Then you got a new guy comes in and makes $20 an hour. You know, and this other guy's got 5 years' experience on this other guy, and they're making the same.
well, now, if,
I'm just, as a now.
yeah, if you started it that way, but that's not what this proposal does.
Right.
This gives across-the-board pay raises. You also have to remember that we do have the longevity pay, so that for every year of experience, you get $75. So, and you start receiving it at year 3, after you finish your 3rd year. So that helps create a little bit of spread, not much, but it creates some spread between the more experienced officers and the less experienced officers.
You know, Chairman, maybe we could look at, instead of the 12%, maybe 15%. I again state that this is a starting point, and we want to take care of them and figure out a way that we can bump this pay for the next 2 or 3 years to get them caught up. I don't know that we can do it all at once. Maybe we can.
I agree with Commissioner Cutshaw. We have to. It's a very, very dangerous line of work, and depending what position you have, every position is extremely dangerous, and they are way underpaid. Have been for quite some time.
Mayor Britton, but I don't understand. I thought we did a study to determine what the rates were, and I thought you said $14.85 is average on correction officer statewide.
That's what Tennessee Corrections Institute said in the presentation. Now, what our consultant suggested was that we bump the plan up 8%, which is this pay grade that we have, and then so for the corrections officers, because we knew we were and patrol, we knew we were farther behind on them, we went to 12, and for 6 for.
Could you come back on the 13th with the 15%?
Can do that. Now, 15% for corrections
Yeah.
and post-certified.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we'll have the whole budget. We'll have that figure, and we can show you where we are with the whole budget at that point. We'll be ready to do that on Monday. So.
Where will we move that money from?
That's what we got to find out.
That's what I was gonna say. We're gonna get the money.
I had a way to pay for this one. I don't have a way to pay for that.
That was $24,000 left from your proposal
Yeah.
today. So where do we get the rest?
Right.
And that was my idea for steps
Tax
each
increase.
year.
Okay. All right, so 15% for corrections and post-certified folks. And we'll have that with the whole, we'll plug that number in with the rest of the general fund, what decisions you guys have made, and then we'll also have this, so we'll have a couple of options.
Does that need a motion, what we just done?
Motion.
Second.
Let me make sure that I have this correct. We're having a motion and a second on looking at 15% across for corrections and post-certified. Is that correct?
That's your motion? That's your motion. Okay.
Do we have any other discussion? If not, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that is all that we have in new business. In the announcements, we've got June 13th wrap-up. On June 27th, hopefully, we will be able to adopt the budget, including appropriations resolution, tax levy resolution, A resolution making appropriations to nonprofits and charitable organizations. If there's nothing else, we are adjourned.
That whole